Good day, everyone. Here to talk about the Bahamas. There are some people out there who don't know what the Bahamas, like where it is. Um, it's a country, Like, I'm just educated about the Bahamas, basically. The politics of the Bahamas takes place within a framework of parliamentary democracy, with a prime minister as the head of government. The Bahamas is an independent country and a member of the Commonwealth of Nations. As a former British colonial, its political and legal traditions closely follow those of the United Kingdom. Queen Elizabeth II is the head of state, but executive power is exercised by the cabinet. Legislative power is vested in the two chambers of parliament. This multi-party system is dominated by PLP, which stands for Progressive Liberal Party, and FNM, which is Free National Movement. Now, the same way how the United States has, what would y'all have the law again? Like when the Senate comes together with the Prime Minister and talk, what y'all call that? The Senate?
Congress?
Congress. The way how y'all have the Congress, we have the House of Assembly, which consists of 3 members elected from individuals' constituencies for 5-year term. About that, so basically, every 5 years, the Bahamas come together and we have an election where we elect not for who's to be the prime minister, but who's going to be in charge of each constituency, a part of different parts around the Bahamas.
So, Bahamas doesn't have a president, it's a prime minister?
Yeah.
There's a difference?
Big difference.
What's the difference?
The difference is, well, for president for y'all, he only can be president one time for one term.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 terms. Whereas here, prime minister, he can be the prime minister as much as he wants. Once his party gets elected.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the way how it is. You make more sense than y'all. Alright. Also, the Senate consists of 6 members appointed by the Governor General, including 9 of the advice of the Prime Minister, 4 of the advice of the leader of the opposition, and 3 of the advice of the Prime Minister after consulting within the leader of opposition. So basically, here the president really don't have power. He still has to go to the Senate and Congress. As in back in the Bahamas, the Prime Minister, he can do whatever he wants. No one can really say nothing after that. We can protest, but it's kind of it. Talk about our independence. We received our independence July 10th of 1973 from under, as we said before, the British. So we now have our own currency. We don't necessarily have to go to her. Like, if we want to make a new rule, we make our own rules and stuff like that.
What's the sorry to interrupt. What's the currency equivalent of a dollar?
Here in the United States, it is said to be the same. But the only thing is you cannot use a Bahamian dollar here in the United States. You can use an American dollar in the Bahamas and it'll be the same problem. It's not like Jamaica where if you use Jamaican American money in Jamaica is valued higher. It's the same in the Bahamas. Yeah. So the currency in the Bahamas is the Bahamian dollar. The Bahamian dollar has served as the country's official currency since 1996. It's abbreviated either the dollar sign or B and the dollar sign. And the sign code would be BSD, all in caps. It exists denominations of $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100. The Bahamian currency is minted by the Central Bank of the Bahamas, which is equal to, like I said before, the US dollar, but can only be used in the Bahamas. We also have change, like quarters and what's not. Our quarter is a bit thinner. It's more dense than the actual American quarter. I'll be right back. This is the Bahamian, and this is the American. It looks almost the same. One is just more denser. With the quarter, we have the coat of arms that says "Coming from the Bahamas 2015" on one side, and then a sailing boat on the other side. Whereas the American has, I don't know, what is it? I think that would be Abraham Lincoln, or one of the dudes. I don't know who he is.
I think that's George Washington.
George Washington. And then y'all have a little eagle on the other side. You have 25 cents, you have a 10 cents. Our 10 cent is the same size as this, but it's rugged on the edges. And then we have a 5 cents, which is the same size as y'all 5 cents. Penny is the same size as your penny. With the money, I have a few. Our money is colored. Yes, I said colored. So this is how a $5 would look. And if you would put UV, there would be some lines that will come here. There will be a man that shows up here, and then another 5 logo will be right there. This is our new dollar that we just brought over, I think, a year ago or 2. This is how it looks. This is Lyndon Pillen. He's the first prime minister that we have, and we've had 3 so far. Well, 4, sorry. This is how the old dollar looks. So it's the same, it's just a bit different. You see how the band, and then you have the gentleman on both. I did have a 5 and I did have a 10, sorry, and 20, but don't have that with me right now. But money wise, that's kind of the difference, and it feels different. Like our money feels like a bit more printed, like you could actually feel it and then grooves in, whereas the American dollar is just regular paper to me. It's just my opinion. That's why I said Bahamas is better. Anyway, about the Bahamas. What else? Okay. What else makes us unique is the Bahamas consists of 700 islands and a few keys. All uninhabited though. The major ones are Abaco, Auckland, Andros, Cat Island, Crooked Island, Idufra, Exuma, Grand Bahama, Inagua, Long Island, Maguana, New Providence, San Salvador. I think I named all that side.
Why aren't those islands inhabited?
There some are inhabited, but it's not like a major thing. Like some just have a population of 5 or 10 people.
Really?
Yeah. Some the number raises up, and then there's some islands where it's just for people, for tourists to go to like interact, chill, kind of get away from the people. So they have, and then there are also some islands that were bought by other people. Like say one island would be like $5 billion. You pay the government, you get the island, it's all to yourself. Whatever you do on the island, once it's legal, you're good. Once it's legal to our laws, you're good. Each island has a specialty. I don't know, I'm trying to find the right word to say this, but each island is unique in its own way. Whereas Andros is famous for their blue holes, deep bone fishing, scuba diving, attracted to the Bay of the Reefs, like places like that. Whereas Andros also is known for its crab. Now the same way how y'all have fruit seasons and I guess like creature seasons, like when you can actually hunt them and what's not. That's how we have it back home. So we have crab season, we have snapper season, and grouper season, just to name a few. Auckland is more of a southern island, so it's not really that inhabited as like Andros, which has more people. The capital of the Bahamas is New Providence, but each island also has a capital. So for instance, Grand Bahama would be the name of the island, but the capital of Grand Bahama would be Freeport. Everyone say, oh, I went to the Bahamas, which irritates me. I'm like, so you went to 700 islands. That's like me saying, oh, I went to the United States. You can be like, where? In the United States. The United States is so big. But most people go to New Providence, but they know it as Nassau, which is the capital of New Providence. or they go to Grand Bahama, or they go to maybe other islands like Eleuthera or Exuma. So, but all the islands that I name, tourists do go to. They have a good time. I think Eleuthera or Exuma is famous for their pink sand, Exuma is famous for the pink sand, and Eleuthera is good for swimming with the pigs. So the pigs are actually kind of friendly, and the water's like to your waist, and you play with the pigs or whatever.
Which island would you recommend the most?
I would recommend going to like Eleuthera, Exuma, or Haba Island. Those are the ones I would recommend going to, because like the water is much more clearer than all the beaches around the Bahamas. It's much more clearer there. But moving on, the Bahamas relies on tourism to generate most of its economic activity. Tourism is an industry not only accounts for over 60% of the Bahamian GDP, but provides jobs for more than half the country's workforce. The Bahamas attracts 5.8 million visitors in 2012, more than 70% of whom were cruise visitors. Now, with our education, which I have to point out, which is kind of, some people say it's more advanced in the United States, some say it isn't, but it depends. So there's two things, there's a public and a private. Public, of course, is run by the government pays for it, you don't have to pay for it, you just pay for the registration, pay for the uniform that every school in the Bahamas has. You have to wear a uniform, there's no dressing wherever you want to dress. Private on the other hand, you have to pay for, and it's a bit pricey. It's almost like a little community college type of price, like $2-3 grand a semester type of thing. How it's separated is primary school, which is from 1 to 6, and before we get to primary school, there's kindergarten, which is K1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is goes by your age. Then you go to primary school, which is you go to primary school from grade 6. Some go from grade 5, some go from grade 7, but the average is 6, age 6. So you go from grade 1 to 6, which is primary school. Then you go to junior high school, which is middle school, I guess, in the United States, which is from 7 to 9. And then there is senior high school, which is secondary. I don't know what y'all call that in the United States. That's from 10 to 12. Then after you finish graduating from high school, senior high school, you have the choice to either go to a vocational school or get an associate degree or a bachelor's degree. So far we have one major university, one college, and one vocational. The university will be named the University of the Bahamas. The college will be BTVI. The next one, the vocational school will be, I forgot the name, but it's 3 in total.
Question. What's the difference between private and public? Is like the private better, or
it's
more resources?
Yes, there's more resources at a private school, but depending on like which public school you go to, is almost the same as going to private school. So like we call it like private government schools, like where it's public but it kind of runs like a private school, which is like more strict. The education is better, the academics, sports, all that is like better than a regular public school. Like it's on the same tier as a private school. Where there's some private schools where it's so slack, it's like I'm wasting my money, can't do school. I'm spending money and you're doing the same thing you could have been doing in public school. Failing. I personally don't think you should be going to private school and making nothing lower than 2.5. It's just my personal opinion. But there's people who make one point a private school, and there's people a public school who makes 3.5 and above. So it's kind of like a preference thing. We all take the same test at the end of the year in regards to the government examinations. Each primary school from grade 3 you take a GLAD exam. I can't remember what it stands for. Grade 6 you take another level of GLAD exams, and then in grade 9 you take BJC, and then in grade 12 you take BGCSE. Those examinations are everyone takes the same exam. There's no private school takes something different from public. They're all the same. Requirements to get into the school, the College of the Bahamas, University of the Bahamas, it would be somewhere like have BGCSEs, high school diploma, or certain level SAT. That's basically our education system. Alright, the best way, transportation, we was talking about. I got like heated in the conversation when I was asked if I came here to the United States on dolphins from one person, and then another time was if I got on a banana boat. And I'm like, bro, everything y'all have in the United States, we have literally everything. From Walmart, Nike store, clothing, movies, tourist spots, like attractions, we have it. It's just like a different name, different quality, different quantities. Y'all have a Walmart, we have a Solomon's. Y'all have a, like Tallahassee have the Governor Square Mall, we have Town Center Mall, and Mall of Marathon. Transportation, I got sidetracked, I'm sorry. We have, for public transportations, we have called the Jitney. Y'all have bus service like Star Metro, I think is the name of it. We call them Jitneys. It's a little long bus. Sounds like two on one side, on one seat on the other side, and then you have the excuse me seat where you pull down into the middle. Then we also have taxis. What else? We do rent cars. We have like the Dollar, Elmo, and then we also have like a company that rents cars, like small little compact cars for people for like a day or a couple weeks. You have to be like 26 and above as well. Sorry, 22 in order to have the car. Then we have the regular cars where people drive from compact to luxury. The most luxury cars I've seen in the Bahamas was a Ferrari, a Ventor, excuse me, but that wasn't like everywhere. That was like he was just driving at certain places because of the road isn't that good. Like it isn't good. All the places in Nassau isn't that good, so like he had to stay certain places. To get from one island to the next, we have air flights, airplanes, or boat. Sometimes we call them ferries or the cruise ships. We have two international airports. One is NAS, which stands for Nassau Independent International Airport, and Freeport Grand Bahama International Airport. Those are the two international airports that we have that goes to most places like United States, Canada, and some places on the eastern side. But most of the time you go to the United States first before you go over to the eastern side of the world. You have a question?
Yeah, so do y'all have your own brand of car or?
No, we don't have our own brand of car. We do have the Honda, Nissan, Mercury, Lincoln, Mazda, GMC, Chevy, everything, it's all there. The only thing I think I've never seen was a Tesla. I think that's the only car I've never seen in the Bahamas was a Tesla. I've seen a Ferrari, a Porsche, a Lamborghini, a Bentley, but I've never seen a Tesla. For some tourists, we have the little horse and carriage, which is kind of like tradition that we have, but transportation, it's all like boat, cruise. We have, sometimes have bicycles where people just ride. Scooters we have for rent, or people actually buy themselves. That's it. So that's some information about the Bahamas. Hope this gets out to educate some people. That's it.